On the 16th of November 2004, Half-Life 2 was released. 2 days later, a domain was registered, XCCR.com. It was initially discovered by a billboard in the game. However, I won't talk about its relation to Half-Life, as there isn't any concrete proof that it was connected at all. The site went unnoticed for a couple of years, until the user Stormalong on Unfiction forums creates a post. So I see this weird sig on /dot posted by some guy named FoundMe. Please stop entering code 227664 XCCR.com. Naturally, I'm curious, so I go over there and enter the code. It spits out this strange little diagram and resets the timer. Typing 227664 as mentioned in the /dot post resulted in a grid appearing, and in the subsequent days, the website changed to also show the question, "Are you him?" Upon seeing this, Stormalong's curiosity grew. What did all this mean? He began to dig further, investigating the website's files. In the images directory, he discovered two strange files, readme and progress.txt. Then, the site changed. It was now displaying an image on the top left corner of the screen. I'll try to keep this part short as some of these are quite complicated, and I'll be skipping some parts for the sake of the video. If you're interested in the details of how it was solved, check out the Unfiction forums archive in the description. This image contained two interleaved images, and after separating them, we get this. The user Dumpster was the first one to match these two screenshots to their sources. On the right there was the Unfiction forums, on which this was being discussed, and on the left there was the header of the SOS Dan forum, another place where the XCCR investigation was taking place. Right after posting about this on the Unfiction forum, progress.txt was updated. Dumpster's user ID along with the exact timestamp of when he posted the solution. 1 point awarded. The puzzle master was acknowledging him. In the same way i0.gif was solved, i1.gif contained two images interlaced with each other at 5 pixel intervals. Decoding the image yielded this. Again, it was the Unfiction forums and SOS Dan. However, people quickly noticed that there seems to be two important differences from the actual forums and these images. In the SOS Dan post, the Y in the word dynamic was replaced with a V, and similarly, in the Unfiction posts, a 5 was replaced with an S in the post count. Looking closer at the post, we can see SOS Dan showed 2664 and Unfiction 10975. Progress.txt updates again with 2 points awarded to Dumpster. That morning, a new GIF appeared on XCCR. If you take all the frames of this GIF, it spells out a message. Everyone is doing it well, hence record ensured without broken counts. If you're hoping of some hint to find him, these must look past the skin deep. Smash each 5px, you shall find it. People were stamped on this for a while, until XCCR updated again with another GIF. This was solved by moving the columns up until the tops of the blue bars match. The message is, him must be answered with clue found in I2, GIF end. It was a hint to continue solving I2.gif. So we do as suggested. We look past the skin deep, and indeed, there was a hidden message in this GIF. There are 7 frames with 6 columns. The user Stormalong took the first column of the letters from frame 2, the second column from frame 2, the third column from frame 7, and so on. And you get, he is the code on /dot. And people actually found a user on /dot with the username 227664. I am not him. Him equals /dot kb328894 readme.txt. That is a Microsoft knowledge base article concerning that the first character of each line being clipped off in a print job. So, if you take the first letter of each line of the readme.txt file, you get Tfayet, which is another valid user on /dot. My user ID is the answer. Find the checkpoint with more than 0. Are you him? And what about 422401216364? After finding this, progress.txt was updated again. Tamerlane on Unfiction forums was the first one to find this new file. It's a sideways image of text. Pretty quickly it was connected to a similar string in the source code of the website. The difference between these two strings were just the numbers, the plus and the equal sign. Separating only the numbers and using it as a /.userid results in this. Another profile, but this time we don't get any clues. Maybe it was just a hint to get the user ID 1133893363, which I skipped earlier in the explanation, as it was just a hint given to solve i2.gif. This part of XCCR history hasn't really been documented well, so I'll be covering it quite quickly. On the 22nd of September 2006, XCCR went through a major update. It now displayed a grid of bunkers with flashing lights. Candy on the Unfiction forums mentioned that in the code of this new version, there was a hidden string. Once your application has been accepted, the code for this bunker will be emailed to you. The correct code must then be entered within the first 24 hours. Other than that though, there wasn't anything of note about this version. Both forums died down and eventually, the site returned to its original look. It stayed dormant for a better part of a decade, before going offline for a while. Anyone who tried visiting the site during that time was greeted by a runtime error. But then, sometime in 2021, the site came back online. The site changed hosting provider, it was now hosted in Singapore, and it changed significantly. XCCR now displayed a cropped image of a QR code. We'll come back to that later. Shortly after, it returned to a very familiar site. That is still the current version as of writing this video. Since then, if you enter 227664 in the console, unlike back in 2006, it starts a 100-minute timer. 100 minutes to do what? Please enter the numbers before time runs out. So, after inputting 227664, we're supposed to enter another number. We have no clue what it could be though. If we select everything on the page, there is a hidden text. In the 2022 version of the site, this was 0 divided by 227 equals B1A, and 0 divided by 7 equals D1A. It was a division, and the first number in each went up seemingly at random. The user FlipKaboom on Reddit stated that every hour the site checks if the timer is running, and if it is, the number goes up by a very small amount. But I couldn't verify this. I've been running a script that sent 227664 to XCCR for the past month, actually 2 months, and so far nothing changed. Maybe it changed behavior since then. By examining the page source code, we uncover some new interesting bits of information. Interestingly, key B1 through key B4 as well as key D1 through D4 just contain the alphabet. We assume that it's supposed to be a placeholder for the actual key values. In the hidden text of the page, B1A was mentioned as a result of division between 0 and the goal. We can assume that once we reach 227, we will unlock the character A of key B1. This theory was confirmed as we reached the goal number of 227. The first character of key B1 was unlocked, it was D. The goal now became 227664, at which it still stands today. It was discovered that door B and door D both correspond to crypto wallets. The first one, on November 22nd, 2022, received $5.75. Someone sent money to a puzzle that had been dead for over a decade. Looking at the network transactions, we don't see anything unusual. Definitely not resembling money laundering, as I've seen someone speculate online. Let's go back to the QR code. Reddit user jcolp123 figured out that there was a bit more information that we could see. Another row of the QR code bits could be extracted by expanding the image's borders. From this, we can see that the original QR code is supposed to be at least the 27x27 version. These two bits are always 0 in the standard 25x25 version. Here's the problem though, we're still missing too much of the QR code to be able to read anything from it. QR codes have built-in error correction, but only up to 30% damage, and we have more than 70% of the QR code missing. But what if it wasn't just limited to xccr.com? I decided to do some digging on the actual domain and found something quite interesting. the server XCCR is hosted on is also connected to 4 other domains. Now, this could be easily explained by using shared hosting, but a few things make that unlikely. As mentioned earlier, XCCR changed to show the QR code in October of 2023. Around that time, all these domains changed in some way. They also share the same name servers. Cloudflare assigns a random pair of name servers to each account. On top of that, these domains historically changed the same IP addresses until less than a month ago. So, multiple domains sharing the same server, the same name servers, and updating at the same time, that seems way too much of a coincidence. The page displays a symbol countdown until the year 2065. The domain was registered on October 30th of 2023, 12 days before the QR code on XCCR was uploaded. I couldn't find anything hidden in the source code, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just a blank screen, there's nothing here yet. All it displays is a static image of the company logo. To my surprise, it is an actual registered company in Johor. The logo PNG is dated the 31st of October 2023. Looking at an earlier version on the Webback machine, it redirected to basong.com. Basong.com will also lead to envysleepers.com. Nothing of interest in both of these, it's just a bit weird. If you try and visit xmoo.net nowadays, it will show a 404 error. However, by looking on the Webback machine, these domains seem to have the most interesting history. Before 2004, it redirects to xmoo.com, a virtual stack exchange. Then, up until 2021, it was the homepage of the xmoo network, along with iMooU messaging and other partners of the network. After 2021, the site just displayed a single dot. Between September and December of 2023, the site changed to show the current 404 page. All these websites don't have any obvious connection to XCCR. We could just be looking at one giant red herring, but it's possible there's something more in some of these. It's hard to say for sure. There was also techservers.net, as it was mentioned in the DNS records as an email server. But clearly there was nothing here to see. So, this is pretty much everything to say about XCCR. We still have unsolved pieces, the QR code, the bunkers. By making this video, I hope to get you curious about this mystery, and maybe, just maybe, some of you are determined enough to solve this. Maybe this website, since its resurgence, was never supposed to be solved quickly. Maybe it was designed to outlive the current player base, to find someone who's persistent and obsessive enough to stick around. Maybe we need to wait until the year 2065 to finally get closure. Until then, XCCR remains what it's always been. A mystery that refuses to end, and a reminder that some rabbit holes go way deeper than we can see. The question was always, are you him? But we still don't know who him is. But maybe that was never the point.